Fox's Lou Dobbs did a segment bragging about the economy and the stock market. There's a little clip of Trump in here who called an impromptu press conference to do exactly the same thing. And this is all happening as the economy falls apart. Take a look.
Good evening, everybody. History made on Wall Street today. A huge rally. The Dow Jones Industrials climbing over the 30,000-point milestone for the first time in history. The Dow Jones Industrials closing at 30,045 points, up 455 points on the day. The S&P up 58, the Nasdaq gaining 156. In less than 4 years, President Trump unleashed the market. Since his inauguration, the Dow Jones Industrials gaining more than 10,000 points and the market cap up more than $18 trillion since he was elected 4 years ago. President Trump's stewardship of the economy and these markets coming despite a never-ending assault from the radical left, the deep state, resistance from the rhinos of his own party, a politically corrupt judiciary, not to mention a global pandemic unleashed by China on an unsuspecting world. 2020 has been an unforgettable year. At an impromptu press briefing today, the president hailed his administration's efforts and congratulated the American people for their part in this historic achievement on the market.
I just want to congratulate everybody. The stock market, Dow Jones Industrial Average just hit 30,000, which is the highest in history. We've never broken 30,000, and that's just despite everything that's taken place with the pandemic. I'm very thrilled with what's happened on the vaccine front. That's been absolutely incredible. It's nothing like that has ever happened medically, and I think people are acknowledging that, and it's having a big effect. But the stock market's just broken 30,000. Never been broken, that number. That's a sacred number, 30,000. Nobody thought they'd ever see it.
From the ground, you could see cars lined up everywhere at Fair Park. When you take a wider view from the air, the length of the line was as far as the eye could see, backed up onto the freeway. But for those in the line, they saw something else.
I see blessings coming to us because we are all struggling, and I appreciate North Texas helping us out.
There we go.
There we go.
Load it up.
Samantha Woods was one of the estimated 25,000 people who benefited from the giveaway.
It really is amazing, and I thank God that I was able to get in the line this morning. Plenty of room.
Each of them thankful, grateful, and very candid about how tough this past year has been.
I haven't been working since December.
March,
Can't find a job. They cut off our unemployment. It's a big deal. It's a real big deal.
So this is a big blessing.
As food bank lines go as far as the eye can see, they're bragging about the stock market. Just so you know, the richest 1% own half the stocks. And if I remember correctly, it's like 80 or 90% of the stocks are owned by the top 10%. So this isn't a reflection of how your average person is doing. It's a reflection of how the wealthy are doing, and it's a reflection of how the corporations are doing. And no wonder they're doing well. They have corporate socialism as far as the eye could see. Under the CARES Act, they got $5 trillion. Just a giant welfare check to all of corporate America. It is corporate socialism. So they get bailed out no matter what. The people, on the other hand, do not. And that's exactly what you're seeing there, which is why people need to wait on these long food bank lines. You could have bailed out the people. You could have done universal basic income. You could have paid 75 or 80% of the American people's wages as you shut down to protect people from COVID. They didn't do any of that. They didn't shut down. They didn't nationalize wages. They didn't do universal basic income. They did a one-time $1,200 stimulus check. One time, $1,200 stimulus check. One time. I knew that Trump would do this, but it's kind of amazing the extent to which he's willing to ignore or downplay the negative facts about the economy to try to play up the things that he views as good, like the market. You know? I mean, 3 billionaires, own as much as the bottom half of Americans. When you look at the numbers, the number of small businesses that are going to go out of business, all the while, billionaires are getting phenomenally more wealthy during this crisis. You have this corporate consolidation, the likes of which we haven't seen since the Gilded Age. I should say the consolidation at the top, the likes of which we haven't seen since the Gilded Age. But small businesses, what was the number? It was like 40% of restaurants could close within a year or so. 40%. 30% of the American people might not be able to pay their rent or their mortgage. As soon as these protections go away after the pandemic, people are screwed. They're absolutely screwed. And numbnuts over here and Lou Dobbs, his sycophant, are out there bragging about the stock market. The nerve of these people. Also, the nerve of these people to talk about something like that as you have over 250,000 Americans dead of COVID, and that number is going to spike massively, man. We're in an uncontrolled spread in every single state in the country except Hawaii. They're the only ones who are not in an uncontrolled spread right now. So, man, I shudder at the thought of how many people are going to die from COVID before this is all over. Even though we got good news on the vaccine front, it's got to be distributed. It's got to be distributed. So, I don't know, are we looking at 500,000? 1 million Americans dead from a pandemic? And they want to say the stonks are up. So, let's all be excited. Let me take a victory lap. The worst possible measure you could ever use. That's what that is. And he's proudly doing it. It's really pathetic, man. It's really pathetic. No socialism for the average guy and the average girl, but socialism for the wealthy and socialism for corporations, and they go out there and brag about the stock market doing well. It's pathetic.